Good morning, good afternoon, good day to all. Welcome to another edition of Homie Picks Playoff Week 1. It's me, Ben, Lou, fellas. We the last time we reconvened, it was last year. Happy New Year to you all. It's we didn't come back for week 18. Week 18, we all took a bye.
Pretty much.
to get us ready into certain things. But how y'all doing though, fellas?
Good, man. Can't complain.
Yeah, all good, man. New Year's came and went. But yeah, man, Happy New Year to you boys. I'm just getting ready to, week 18, nobody thinks about it. Too many starters rest. It's not the best time. So now's the time. Playoffs.
And that's the thing about it. Playoffs have been set. We came back into the new year with new gear, all looking stylish now. Our polos, our homie pick polos, hat, shirts, other merch is available as well. Also check out the FanDuel Sportsbook promo link. For new users, it's a free $50 bet. We're also going to talk about another FanDuel thing that's going to be happening later on in the playoff run. But for now, we got to even get through the first weekend, super weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. There's a format they started last year, and I kind of like it. I'll give you three days of excitement. For the first time in a long time, the Jacksonville Jaguars are in the playoffs. For the first time in a long time, the Miami Dolphins are in the playoffs.
Right.
We'll talk more in depth about those teams later on. But hey, we got a big game starting off Saturday, 4:30, excuse me, on the east side, 1:30 on the west side. Division rivals. Seahawks at Niners. As everybody should know, the Niners are a big favorite. I ain't going to talk about those. So finally, it's funny because the past few weeks, Paul, the A2021Vision visionary, the boss himself, has talked about us not talking about his Niners, and here we are talking about his Niners for the first game.
And the first thing I want to say is I don't want to talk about them, bro. No.
So we're gonna skip to the next game now.
Let's just go over that.
So fellas, so Ben, how do you see this one going down?
I mean, it's hard to pick against the Niners in this spot. Seattle came in going into the playoffs and sputtering a little bit. Geno's coming down to earth a little bit, tape is out there, so defenses are preparing for him just a little bit better. And they're a little banged up. On the other hand, the Niners are pretty healthy right now, getting healthier, and Purdy's playing well. I mean, can he sustain it? It's really the question. But at the moment, I mean, there's something about the way he plays with that confidence he has. I wouldn't take the points there. That's a lot of points. I feel it's going to be a little bit closer, but I'll definitely take the Niners here.
Nope.
I wouldn't thought at the beginning of this year that we'd be talking about Brock Purdy quarterback in an NFL playoff game before what's his name that got hurt? Not Justin Fields.
Tua?
Huh?
Tua?
No, the Niners quarterback.
Jimmy?
Or Trey.
Oh, Trey Lance.
Trey Lance. Look, it's been so long, I forgot the man's name. Yeah,
that's it, bro. That's it. He's forgotten land. I'm sorry.
I mean, the Niners are a team that's built to win it. They have the receivers. They have an awesome running back. They have a stout defense. Purdy just don't fuck it up. Seahawks are happy to just be in the dance. They weren't supposed to be here. Shoot, no. They traded Russ, and for some reason they made the playoffs now. With Geno Smith and a whole bunch of nobodies. I mean, they're running back number 9, K9 over there. He's crushing it. But this is the first game of the night, the afternoon, morning. NFL like, let's just get this over with. Niners with a dominant win and truck along to the second round.
Yeah, if the lines still hold, which they probably will, Niners are a 9.5 point favorite. As Ben said, that's a pretty big number. But the Niners
For
have
a
been
playoff game,
playing
you know.
dominant. The Niners have been playing really dominant football. To the point they've been beating people by 14 and stuff. The defense is coming along. Purdy has been doing great. Like, it's not even so much he's just being a game manager. He's making plays. And that's a lot to ask for a young rookie quarterback. Especially when you're the third string person, somebody nobody even thought about you like that. And the fact that you're getting everybody involved, it's not even so much, you're not even thinking about, I don't want to mess this up. Like, you're thinking about, how can I continue to go and how am I making my team better? And that's pretty elite for, to be in the position that he's in. Definitely Niners, I see winning this. I think the Niners, some of those players on defense have been there for that Super Bowl run before. And I think they're hungry for another run. Kittle and Samuel especially. So I think, even with a 9.5 point favorite spread, I think Niners just crush them. I think 31-10, to be honest. I think Niners show how dominant they are. I can't even say against, like, any team made to the playoffs, you made it. No matter how bad Buccaneers are, no matter how bad a team could look coming into the playoffs, you made it to the playoffs, and that's what matters. So, I think against a nice Seattle team, I think San Fran does their thing. And also shout out to, not even so much shout out, but prayers up for anybody who's affected in the San Francisco in that north area. Do all those landslides and mudslides, with all the rain that's going on. As we learned from week 17 with DeMar Hamlin, who, God bless his soul, he's home, resting and recovering. Life is not about football. There are bigger things in the world than just the game. So, we all pray for peace and safety for everybody. Going to the second game of the night, which is the more interesting, I think, of the games of the night. Chargers at Jacksonville. And yes, I said at Jacksonville. They are hosting a playoff game for the first time in a very long time. Chargers are currently a 2.5 point favorite.
No, they're 2.5, yeah.
But Lou, how do you see it?
Man, it's not even the players and the Chargers that worry me. It's the coach. It's the coach. I've been saying it all year. Like, this guy's like, I don't think I've seen a coach that's outside of the Broncos coach who got fired, who got let go, that's trying to lose his job faster. But with all that said, I think Justin Herbert makes his name here. I mean, you had him picked for MVP this year. He hasn't had the chance to show that. I don't think. First of all, I think it's crazy that they played all their starters in week 18 for no reason. Seeding didn't matter. Like, they were stuck at 5. Like, they weren't going anywhere. So for him to play them was mind-boggling me. I mean, they're going into the game with one of the Bosa's banged up a little bit. That could come around and bite you in the butt. And I'm going to pick the Chargers on the sheer fact that I think they control the clock in this game. They don't let Jacksonville dominate on offense. Run the ball, short passes, and Keenan Allen shows up in the end zone when he needs to. So I'm taking the Chargers, and it's going to be one of those close 3.4 point games.
Ben?
Yeah, much like Lou, I don't trust the coach for the Chargers. They depend so much on Herbert. Like, it's really gonna come down to him. This is gonna be his first playoff game, and so is Trevor Lawrence. But I feel like the Jags have a little bit more momentum, and they're playing in Duval. I'm sorry, there's something in that stadium that just
Water.
rattles other opponents for some reason. I actually like Jacksonville in this spot here. I feel they have the better coach, and he's proven he's got a ring. They have a good quarterback. They have some weapons there. I feel like they match up pretty well with them. And like Lou mentioned, the Chargers played their starters on week 18, and Mike Williams got hurt. So that's one of their key offensive pieces. So it really changes their game when he's not playing. So yeah, I like Jacksonville here.
Duval County. Ah man, yeah, it's gonna be a special time, I think, Saturday night in Florida. Usually the only time you see a Saturday night game in Florida around in that northern territory, usually is out in Tallahassee for Florida State. So it's gonna be a vibe out there. LA to Jacksonville, it's a long trip, and at least they're not too far to vacation out in South Beach. Cause I might have had the Chargers as my Super Bowl, in the Super Bowl, as a pick, but I don't see them making out the first round. I think it was a bonehead decision having them, having their starters in Week 18 were a game where it didn't matter. Jacksonville has been playing great. The connection between Peterson and Lawrence is showing, and it's growing every week. It's remarkable. While I think the Chargers defensively can give them fits, Jacksonville has shown me, at least up until so far, they don't quit. Like, you can think you can beat them. Cowboys thought they beat them. Jacksonville don't stop. So, as long as they see time on that clock, they going. And offensively, I think Christian Kirk and company, I think they're doing some nice things. I think Jacksonville has this one. I can see it a 6-point game, like a couple field goals that'll separate that, but it's gonna be a close game.
Should be a fun game.
It's gonna be a fun game. I definitely think it's gonna be a fun game. Starting off Sunday afternoon, we got another division game between Miami and Buffalo.
It's not a game. It's not a game.
This is kind of like deja vu of the beginning of Saturday.
This is a bye week. Right?
Essentially, because if anybody hasn't followed, yes, Buffalo beat Kansas City. Yes, Cincinnati beat Kansas City. And yes, Kansas City is the number 1 seed. And they get a bye week. So what does the NFL do? Give Buffalo a bye week. So Buffalo has a secondary bye week. I ain't going to talk about how big that margin is. It doesn't even matter if they even covered or not. Actually, for betting purposes, I guess it does matter. Because I would have taken on money line. Money line alone is too big of a margin for you to bet on, to be honest.
There's no money in it.
I know we're all on Buffalo to win this one. The only thing is, do I think they're going to cover 13.5 at the moment? Yes. Lou. Sorry, Ben. Yeah, Ben.
Do they cover 13.5? I don't know. I'm gonna say no. Okay. I think they don't cover it.
What, at 10? 10?
I'm gonna say they get to 12.
Okay, so
they get to 12. They don't cover. They get to 12. They get to 12.
So over, under. Got it. Moving on to.
Oh no, wait. I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Dolphins aren't gonna cover the 13.5.
Oh. Okay.
I'm sorry. Let me clear that one up.
So over, under. Okay.
Yeah, let me clear that one up. Hold on.
So over, under.
Yeah. I was talking about the Dolphins already covered 13.5. I think that definitely gets smoked.
I think the Dolphins head coach looks like Logic. Shout out to Logic. You know, he's half black, half white. But that's about as far as it's gonna go. Tyreek Hill and company. I'm sorry. Tua is even with a healthy Tua, I still see Buffalo. I still
Yeah,
see Buffalo beating them
it's
down.
playoffs, man. Playoffs, they ramp it up even more.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Like
Good run, Miami.
Tyreek Hill's show gonna miss Pat Mahomes this week.
For sure.
So moving to the third game, which I know is the game that Lou has circled since they actually played. He was the one who advocated, hoping that they do play in the playoffs. He gets his wish, so I'm gonna make sure his pick is last. But it is the Giants and Vikings at Minnesota again. Vikings are a 3-point favorite currently. So for me, I know Lou had his circle. Danny Dimes is, playoff breakout performance is inevitable. He's a hard quarterback to tackle too. That's crazy. Sadly, Kenny Galladay, was 70-something catches away from his bonus.
So close. So close.
So close.
So close.
Just missed it by the mark by a smidge. But let's just talk about how the Giants have been doing some really nice things. Dayball had his team, geared up all year long. Yeah, they stumbled a little bit, but hey, that's the ebbs and flows of a season. It's a long season. Minnesota at the same time has had a hot start. Stumbled, against the Eagles on Monday Night Football. The fact that they didn't have Kirk Cousins on prime time is saying something to me. But but they also
4:30.
it ain't 8 though. So, but the fact that they offensively they can do some really nice things. Defensively they can do some nice things, but lately they have been slowing down a lot. They don't look as explosive as they have in the early parts of the year. I think this is a Giants game to lose. It was a close one before, and I'm gonna say it's gonna be another close one. Sorry, Lou, but I think Minnesota goes on to the next round by the same kind of result, a last-second field goal. Ben, what you thinking?
Yeah, I was actually kind of leaning like you were, Minnesota. I mean, they've had so many late games. They win by a field goal and all that good stuff. But to be honest, I feel like this one is the Giants game. I'm taking the Giants in this one. I feel like second time around, they're gonna clean up some of the mistakes. They actually blew that game in some parts for it, so they actually could have won that game. Their defense has regressed a lot for Minnesota, so I just feel like they're not really capable of really stopping anybody right now. So, the Giants been playing well, and I feel like they're gonna make some noise here. I think they're gonna surprise them. They're gonna hit them in their mouth. And I like the Giants here.
Boo!
So, we're gonna ignore me and Bengal had a conversation. I'm gonna ignore Jared and everything he just said. Just ignore him. So the keys to me for this game is one, Minnesota's only a 3-point favorite at home. That's a pick 'em. That means Vegas is like, bet this game Giants. The Giants are getting healthy at the right time. I think they're getting back a couple of key defensive players back. McKinney's coming back, as well as Leonard Williams is coming back. Like Ben said, it's gonna be different this time around. I mean, we took Minnesota's best shot at their house. Justin Jefferson lit us up. We got to contain that. I think getting two key defensive backs back can make a huge difference for us. And Saquon rushed for 132 yards on 22 carries. He needs to do that again. More of that. Control the tempo, control the clock. And when things get tough, Daniel Jones has to make the smart decision. he's capable of running with his legs. So it can't be him forcing interception like he did in that game, trying to push the ball down the field. Play within yourself, control the clock, and we'll walk on Minnesota with a W. And listen, let Kirk Cousins have to beat you. Let Kirk Cousins put that pressure on him because the sun's setting like at 5 o'clock. That's before halftime. So he got one quarter. He got one quarter.
On top of that, I believe Dalvin Cook got a little dinged up. I'm not sure if he's 100%. So
yeah. So
no run
Kirk
game.
Cousins got one
It's
quarter.
gonna be Captain Kirk launching it 54 times.
I already know. Another one of our guests earlier this year, our Ken, is probably cursing me out as well about his Giants also. Going into the third game of the night, which is going to be another massacre. I think Sunday's going to be. It's going to start with a massacre and end with a massacre. Unfortunately, my team is part of that massacre. So the unhealthy Baltimore Ravens, I had to put that out there like that. The very unhealthy Baltimore Ravens against the very healthy and capable Cincinnati Bengals. Hell, we just played them. We literally just played them. They kicked the shit out of us. And I'm gonna pause my comment until last. Lou, what you thinking?
Bro, man, I had high hopes for this Baltimore team. They were my pick in NFC, and the AFC, excuse me, to win it. And I don't know, something is off about everything going on with Lamar Jackson. Like, I get it, he hurt his PCL, but it was like what, 5-6 weeks ago. Like, for him not to practice, even run lightly, like show any increase of health leading into the playoff game, makes me think this is about the money. It makes me think he's saying, listen, y'all don't want to pay me, I'm not going to play. And it sucks because I think Baltimore, especially in the division they play with Joe Burrow, putting a flag down in this division and calling it his. You know, so I'm sorry, Jared, but yeah, since he's going to go ham. I think they're gonna come out the gates going, and they're not gonna stop. They're not gonna stop because they got a date circled with Buffalo and KC, one of the two. Hopefully, people forget that Cincinnati was the defending AFC champs. They went to the Super Bowl. There's no ifs, ands, buts about that. And Joe Burrow has not regressed during this whole, after Super Bowl slump that most quarterbacks go through. He's progressed. He's gotten better. He's taken his team to the next level. He has the best weapons out there pretty much in the playoffs right now when you combine quarterback, running back, and wide receivers. So, yeah, Cincy for the win of this one. I think they cover their points too.
Ben?
Yeah, so I'm gonna pick the upset. They don't cover the points, and Cincy. I'm sorry, but I can't pick Baltimore. QB issues. Struggle to run the ball. They're just limping right now, and yeah, Cincy, even though they're not 100% themselves, but I feel they have enough. They should be able to control and win it handily. I don't know if they'll run up the score this time around, but yeah, Cincy for me.
So resume my comment. Yeah, they're gonna kick the shit out of us. It's just if there's a bus about that. This is gonna beat the shit out of us. My defense showed you all year what they can and cannot be. Hell, I mean, they love to have a lead and then blow that late. Long as Lamar Jackson ain't playing, we ain't gonna have a lead. At least we had the best kicker in the game. That's all I can say about that. Other than that, there is no upside to this. Sorry to Roquan Smith who thought he was getting out of a bad situation in Chicago to see equally bad situation right now in Baltimore. Marlon Humphrey, our all-pro defensive back, has been lacking. Yeah, it ain't gonna be pretty, flat out. Just ain't gonna be pretty. I do agree with Lou's point about it's the money. Why would I put my health out there for a team that's not willing to pay me? So, put your money where your mouth is, and then we'll see about me practicing. Until then, I'm gonna take the business route, and it's a business, flat out. It's a business. I ain't mad at it one bit. It's a business. I could be a fan all I want, but this is a business, and it is what it is. You want me to risk myself and my future health for this game to put to put some dollars in my account. So I get it. Maybe next year. That's all I gotta say. And it was hard for me to even pick Cincinnati to even be a repeat AFC North champion, and I was sad to see that I was right on that one. Baltimore's giving them a chance though. They would give them a run with the money, but hey, chips fall where they fall. This is gonna be an interesting one for the Monday night.
Very.
Cowboys, Buccaneers. Who would have thought the stumbling, bumbling Buccaneers would have backed themselves into the playoffs? It feels like Tom Brady, and it's crazy. I mean, yes, it's an extra week, but Tom broke his own record. It's just even stupider. And they were a trash team. Like the Buccaneers were not been as good all year. The Cowboys, have been okay. Up and down season. Cooper Rush, baby. He gave them life. But then that came back, and then it is what it is after that. They didn't have enough steam to go against that juggernaut in Philadelphia, which even Philadelphia, we'll talk about the two teams that have number one seeds right after this. But although the Cowboys are the favorite, are they really a favorite? Lou, I know you're a Giant fan, and I want to hear your comments first. So, Lou, what is it?
Man, so I was talking to a couple of friends about this. Ain't nobody scared of the Cowboys. Ain't nobody in the playoffs right now scared of the Cowboys. Like, if you put the Seahawks versus the Cowboys, everybody would be like, man, who am I going to take in this game? And then ain't nobody going to fill that out and say Cowboys. Except for Cowboys fans. I think Cowboys fans are really, really scared because there's two people you don't want to see in the playoffs. Ever. Especially the first round. And that's Aaron. And that's Tom Brady. Mm-hmm. Cowboys got Tom Brady. I'm sorry. And he's hosting a game? He's hosting a game. Like, listen, you tell me one game, if I had to pick Tom Brady or Dak Prescott, I'm going Tom Brady. I don't care if Tom Brady was 85 years old. Him at 45, Tom still put up 26 touchdowns, over 4,000 yards, and 9 interceptions. With nobody. He has Mike Evans, yeah, he has Goodwin, but they haven't been playing up to par. That offensive line is barbecue chicken. And yet they still make it. They limped into the playoffs, but they got to the playoffs. And all Tom Brady needs is a chance. Like, and the biggest stat I heard all week that made me stop and pull over and laugh, Tom Brady's undefeated against Dallas. He is 7-0 against Dallas. I'm sorry. Dallas, I love you. Like, I don't really love you. I hate y'all. I laugh every time I get bumped out of the playoffs because it happens. Somebody had the nerve to say Dallas fans are like Knicks fans. Completely different. Knicks fans know we suck. Cowboy fans live in this bubble that every year is their year. Every year is their year. And the same thing happens. The Cowboys haven't won the playoff game since what, the 90s?
Yeah.
Oh, they haven't won. No, I'm not talking about reach the Super Bowl. They haven't won a playoff game since the 90s. So, yeah, man, Tampa Bay wins this game. It ain't pretty, but Tampa Bay wins this game. Flat out.
Ben?
Yeah. Yeah, I just feel like the Cowboys are gonna do what the Cowboys do. It's you're facing Tom Brady in Tampa. Their defense still plays well, and they're gonna muck up that game. They're gonna make a very difficult time for Dak. They're not gonna let them run that ball. They're gonna make Dak beat them, and that's where the mistakes is gonna happen. I just feel it's gonna come down probably to the last possession, and Brady gets it, and probably wins by a field goal. and and here we go again. Tom Brady ends up in the Super Bowl. It's like I want to pick Dallas. I want to say Dallas can win this game. They have the offensive capability to put up some points, but under pressure in a playoff game, again, the defense are gonna playing harder, a little bit tighter. I feel like Dak might struggle a bit with the pressure that they have now because McCarthy might be on the hot seat if they lose and all that. So I think a lot of pressure is on the Cowboys and Dak. So I've nobody expected Tampa to be there. I think they're just gonna ball out and just sneak in a win.
Yeah.
Who would have thought a 12-win team would struggle or could possibly struggle against an 8-win
No,
team?
they're gonna struggle. They're gonna struggle. Man, did you not see the last game of the season?
Yeah, against the Falcons, that was pretty. Oh no, sorry, that's for Buccaneers. For the Cowboys, who would they win? Who they go against? They went against who the
Washington.
Cowboys?
They let the Commanders smack the living crap out of them.
All right, Washington.
Yeah, I think they blew
Washington,
them.
It ain't gonna be pretty.
Washington blew them out the building.
Yeah, and Dallas fans are gonna say, "Oh, we weren't really playing, because we didn't really want, we weren't playing for nothing." Yeah, you can say all that, but
Yeah, they were.
starters out there. They had starters out there.
exactly,
They were playing for
you had
something.
your plus
They were
players out
trying
there.
to play for seeding, so don't say it.
Unlike,
Man, the
unlike,
Giants number 2s look better against
yeah,
Philly's number 1s last week.
unlike the Chargers, Dallas was playing for something and had all their starters out there. Now, can Dallas win this game? Yes. Will they win this game? No. It's not even so much the stat about, which is even that's even a crazy stat. Tom Brady's never lost against the Cowboys, but Dallas does what Dallas always does. They make the playoffs. They give people hope. They give people hype, and then they blow it. And there's always going to be that fourth quarter moment where Dallas may be up, and they're going to blow it. The only saving grace I can see Dallas for winning would be that Michael Parsons plays every position on the field for defense.
But not even that. Their defense has taken a step back.
Yeah.
Because Washington put up hella points.
Diggs' brother, I can't remember his first name, but
Trayvon,
Trayvon and Michael Parsons, they gonna need to be like Jay-Z and Nas out there. He gonna need to be the greatest.
Nah, it's like that Bugs Bunny cartoon where he playing pitcher, catcher, hit it.
Yeah. That's why I was just thinking that.
They gonna need to be like that to do anything worth it. I really can't see. I mean, yes, Dallas is the favorite, but honestly, I just think Tampa Bay, even at 8 wins, and let's call it what it was. Tampa's had a very pedestrian that year, but when you got a 45-year-old quarterback, you're not really trying to do anything except just make the playoffs. This is his element. Tom knows how to win in the playoffs, and this ain't gonna be no different. So yeah, I think Tampa Bay on Monday night too, with a light shine bright. Yeah, this is Tom's element.
Oh
right?
yeah.
So yeah, Tampa Bay I think gets this one. The number 1 seeds, Philadelphia and Kansas City. Now, like I said, we can argue Kansas City being the number 1 seed, but that's due to one less game played for Buffalo and Cincinnati, since they didn't count that towards the standings. But let's go first to Philadelphia. Are they really a number 1 seed? Should they? I mean, have they played? Let me rephrase. Because yes, schedule-wise, they are. But do you think they have been tested enough to say they're a true number one seed? I'm
gonna say
Lou.
no. I'm gonna say no on the sheer fact that the NFC East this year played a light schedule, very very light. Um, I mean, again, you have to beat the teams in front of you. Like that's just what it is. You know, a couple years ago we had Pittsburgh go 11-0, and that was the most fugazi 11-0 we ever seen in our goddamn lives. But I think Philly, we saw two different sides of Philly. We saw the Philly with Jalen Hurts and what he can do, and then we saw the Phillies with Minshew and what they're not. So for me personally, I don't think there's a true number one in NFC. I think that belongs to the Niners. I think the Niners were the most tested team in the NFL season this year. Lost both quarterbacks, got some dude off the street to play, and they're still winning. So no, I think Phillies is a borderline for Gazy number one seed, but they're playing the team in front of them. If Tampa Bay wins, Tampa Bay gets to go play Philly. We know what's gonna happen with that. Philly might just run them out the building. And then my Giants got to go play San Francisco, which I'd rather lose to San Francisco than see Dallas go play the next round. So I'll take that. But I think Philly's one of those mediocre, not true number ones. And they're hurt right now. They're a little banged up. So that they needed. I think if all teams needed a bye this week, Philly needed it the most.
Ben?
Yeah, it's kind of difficult to say like they're not, their record is what it is. They beat the teams that were in front of them. They didn't pick the schedule that they were gonna do. But are they number one? Technically, yes, but are they the toughest number one? No. There's better teams, like you said. 49ers are definitely a better team. At least positionally wise, they have really good players in every position. And it's just really showing you that, they do depend a lot on Hurts. The minute he got hurt and when their line started to get hurt, just I feel like they're also a victim of their success at the beginning. They were all healthy, they were fine, but now they started to get banged up. Competition started to get a little bit harder. So it could be coincidental. So it's kind of hard to gauge him at this time. For me personally, I think they're a good team, but again, when they're banged up, they're not as effective as they could be. So it missing Hurts, or if he's not 100%, really does hurt their chances to win.
Nice play on words. Yeah, I don't think Philadelphia has been really tested all year. I actually had this conversation the other night with somebody. But yeah, I feel, yes, they are a really good team. And yes, they had to do what they had to do. Like, you can't fault the team for having whatever schedule they had, because you can have an easy schedule and still lose every game. So Philadelphia did what they needed to do. And I'll give them credit where credit is due. I just don't feel like they've really been tested all year. They've had some challenging games, don't get me wrong, but I think this is when they're really going to be tested and challenged, because this is when, teams know it's one game and that's it. There's no, I come back next week, we'll try at it again, see what works. No, this is when you give everything you got. So I think Jalen definitely think Jalen needed an extra week to get healthy, or healthier than he was previously. I was surprised at how decent Philadelphia did with Gardner Minshew, but I thought they would have just completely folded. I mean, they actually did pretty decent. So I think Philadelphia can do some nice things, but I still think this is the Niners' Super Bowl run for them to lose. Philadelphia may be the only competition they really may have, but still don't feel like they're a true number one that says like we're dominant enough to be in this position. But again, they did what they needed to do, and they won the games they needed to win. Kansas City, invertly, I think Kansas City also is not a true number one. And that's crazy because Kansas City is a great team.
Yeah.
I don't like the arrogance in Kansas City. I understand it. They did win. They can be arrogant a little bit. That little water boy, ring around the post, shit they did against the Raiders was very disrespectful.
Yo, whole level of disrespect, yo.
It was a whole shit show of disrespect going on there.
Yo, man, if I was Josh McDaniels, I would say, yo, next play, everybody hit somebody.
Work.
Just hit them.
I don't care how many personal fouls you get.
Hit somebody.
Whole team get ejected. Yeah. Like, yeah, that like is wild. Like, honestly, I think Buffalo is the true number one in this one, and I think Cincinnati is right behind that. Like this, honestly, to me, that's 1A and one AA. Like, I think 1A and 1AA is Buffalo and Cincinnati, and I think KC is under that. But it is what that is on that one.
But this might be the first year that being the number one seed in the AFC hurts you. Because if you make it to the conference championship and it's against either Buffalo or Cincy, you're not playing at home.
Right.
Do you know where they're playing at?
The neutral field site? No.
Atlanta, I believe.
Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
So you don't get the upside of the elements. You don't get the snow. You don't get the wind. You're playing in the dome. Like, this is the first year I think being the AFC number one seed might bite them in the ass.
That's fair, because usually they do play great at Arrowhead. They had some memorable games. That game against Buffalo, very memorable. But you had the elements in the win. And all those factors that went into that game. Yeah, you're a nice, comfortable, warm stadium. So that does make a difference. What do you think about KC being number one?
I don't mind that. Just because of the whole they lost the game thing, but I think I think probably Cincinnati was gonna end up with that number one, to be quite honest. I thought Buffalo was stumbling a lot towards the end of the season. They weren't playing as crisp as they should be, and they always abandon the run game, so that's always a problem, particularly in the playoffs. So I mean, I don't have a problem with it. They're really good teams. It would have been an issue like if I was like like a Minnesota or something. Or suddenly they're number one just because of that.
Right.
A very lucky team that seems to have a record, but you got to give KC their props. They lost their offensive weapon. People thought they were gonna fall off the cliff with the points, but they keep putting up points with somebody else. They find somebody else to get the ball to, and they keep on rolling. I mean, yeah, they can be arrogant, particularly some of their fans, but it is what it is. To be quite honest, until they get knocked out of it, they are the king of the hill. I mean, we make all these predictions of the MVPs, but Mahomes has two, so.
I liken Kansas City Chiefs fans to these modern day Golden State Warrior fans. Like they got a little taste of victory, in recent years, and they think their shit just don't stink. Like,
you stink. Yep.
The elite. Like, and I'm like, you also are just one play away from being done too. So, but hey, if you have been this good for this long, flaunt it. I get it. At the same time, I always root for their downfall too. And that's just because I'm a Baltimore fan. But also, it's just something about the Chiefs I just can't stand. And maybe it is Mahomes, because honestly, nobody thought about the Chiefs until Mahomes got there. So maybe it is Mahomes. I mean, it's not that I want to see him struggle. I want to see him fail. I'm gonna put out as a black quarterback, I love to see it, victory. I love to see it. But at the same time, I just don't want him. I
You
just
know,
don't.
Mahomes is like a victim
I
of his own
don't like it.
success, man. You know,
I don't like it.
he got all the success so early on that like now it's like, oh, but you didn't do that again, so you're not that great. So I think, I think that gets under their skin kind of thing. So they react to that, I feel. But and I get it, like he's accomplished a lot and you would think, you would acknowledge how good he is, but there's always somebody else getting picked MVP over him.
You know what? We have to appreciate the greatness that we have while we have it. Like I could take the hater out, right quick. Because a lot of people bash and hated Brady for being as great as he has been, and we can call on the scandals that's happening in New England and so forth. Either way, Tom has always found a way to make it happen. So if you're gonna give kudos and credence to that, give kudos and credence to what to what's going on in Kansas City. But at the same time, go Baltimore. Go
Hey.
Indianapolis, go Giants, go anybody but the freaking Chiefs though. But
Especially in the AFC, bro.
Wrapping up, so there's no more fantasy. Those who have won their fantasy leagues, congrats to y'all.
Yeah.
Or fuck y'all too. But we still do have parlays because that's the name of the sport betting game. So anytime touchdown scorers, what we thinking?
Yeah, so I kind of like Travis Etienne, Jacksonville. I think the Chargers defense is not the greatest with the run. I think he will probably sneak one out, probably on the swing and just run it. I mean, he's very fast. So I like his chances.
Luke?
I'm gonna go with 49ers defense.
I can see it. I can see it.
Bold.
I see. Man, I don't know if I can walk through the streets if I say this one.
You better not.
I guess I got to strap up then. 3 touchdown game for Jamar Chase.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm not just picking against my team. I'm picking on my team. Like I say, Jamar Chase 3 touchdowns.
Okay.
3 touchdowns, 150. That's how bad I'm seeing it.
Wow.
So
wow, you were that down on the season. Come on, man. You
down
made the
bad,
playoffs.
bro. Down bad right now. We
made the
down,
playoffs.
down
You made
bad.
the playoffs. You made the playoffs.
We made the playoffs, but that don't mean nothing right now. Damn it, we need a. At this point, I would take the pick.
You never know. Maybe at halftime Lamar comes out of the out
Oh
the
my
tunnel,
God.
comes out the tunnel and carries you guys.
What, he gonna pull a Willis Reed?
That'd be awesome.
Put
Put me in, coach. I'm ready.
Score a couple touchdowns and walk off with a finger out like that. Yeah, like name it after that. Nah, we good. And just a quick gloss over. We'll talk about it more as the time comes for it. Super Bowl, there is a FanDuel thing with Gronk kicking the field goal. So people have a chance to win off the strength of Gronk's leg. So we'll talk more about that as that gets closer to it. It's going to be a fun one. Hopefully Gronk is liquored up because I think him at his highest is his best. So, but until then, enjoy this first week playoffs. Like, share, subscribe, buy merch. Tell us where you agree with our picks, or where you don't agree. Until then, we'll get back at you for week 2. Until then, deuces.